Alright, so got the hood off and mounted on the stand. So here's my setup for the hood. Again, with the lights coming in at that V angle. Gonna go around here, push every dent up, and then begin going in my 360 degrees around the hood, doing all of the cross-checking. I have this hood bolted down as well. Right there's the underside. And I usually always begin my hoods right here at the back and then work my way around. Again, starting with the larger dents, repairing them first and move into the smaller ones. Alright, so I'm going to start out with this larger dent, making pushes directly in the center, shallowing it up little by little. Again, I'm going to make this push enough to move the metal, but I'm not going to change the texture of the paint. Enough to move and shrink the metal, but then you pull back. That way you're not leaving aggressive high spots. Just one little push at a time will do the trick. I think where a lot of people get into problems is they tend to over push the center, causing it to mound up, and then at that point you got to rely on your hammer and knockdown skills. And sometimes if you don't have them skills developed properly, you'll get the dent going in the wrong direction. Basically meaning that every time you tap it out, it may get a little bit bigger, or you may leave aggressive tap marks, which are basically little dents. And then at that point, you've got to clean up that entire area. And again, it just continues to down spiral. So the more you bring it up, the more little dents you create, and on and on and on. That's why it's very important to take each and every individual step. Make sure that you will master the hammer knockdown. Master your pushing technique. And then, at that point, work your way into advanced dents and advanced repairs. In fact, you actually work your way into an intermediate type repair. And then to advanced. And normally I would do all of this cross-checking at the end of the repair process, but just for sake of demo in this video, go ahead and do it now. So there you have it. That is our once large dent removed in just a few minutes. So now I'm going to go ahead and go into the rest of this hood, and what I am going to do is begin working everything from one angle, and then I'm going to come back and do all my cross-checking from other angles. I'll tell you something, this is one thing that I absolutely love about this hood stand. And there are many like it. This one has a real nice tool tray. I've got all my tools sitting here. Very handy as I'm working around this hood. But one of the things that I absolutely love is that I can sit here in this position and spin my hood. Rather than sliding my chair around or moving my lighting, I can actually leave my light positioned like this and then just spin it as I work my way around the hood. Now if you can imagine, I know that sounds like just a small thing for me to teach you here, but if you can imagine, all these little things add up to a lot of time. In the hail damage industry, time is money, and you're always trying to find a way just to shave off a little bit of time for your repair process. Now the tool manufacturers have gotten so much better at developing tools that will aid us in that process. And going cordless is another thing. You want to make sure when you get to a hail site, sometimes it's not acceptable to have cords running around on the floor. So after moving all the way around this hood at a 360-degree angle, now I'm ready to cross-check at my original angle, the one that I started with. So I basically just made my way a trip all the way around the hood, and then you want to check it one last time at that original angle. Giving them one or two pushes just to finish them off. So there you have it, guys. We got the hood all finished. It's ready to be reinstalled. I've got a couple different hood stands around here, so I'm going to go ahead and leave this one attached to the stand until we actually finish the car. Alright everybody, so now we got the hood and the roof done. It's time to jump on the side panels, and I'm going to start off by doing a blending tutorial on this rail. So I hope you enjoy it. We'll check out blending in its all of its glory. Alright guys, so this right here is going to be the little dime-sized dent that I'm going to be blending out for you today. There you have it. Nice. As you can see from the overhead light, it's not a elongated low. It is truly blended out. Personal preference for me, guys, is I like having two lights coming in at two different angles whenever I'm working side panels. I'm going to tell you what that does for me. When I'm doing my cross-checking procedure, I don't have to constantly be adjusting and changing each and every individual light. Got one back here for this angle, got one up here for this angle. And I find that I can actually move more fluently across the side panels, having two lights so I can just continuously cross-check as I go. So right there's a little tech tip for you, and always remember, when it comes to hail damage repair and many repairs, time is money. It happens to be on this 2011 Honda Insight. I have perfect access to the quarter panel, at least to a lot of it, from this rear wiring harness. So I was able to go ahead and shove it in. I've got a nice factory opening here. Can put my tool in it. I can do a lot of my dent work up until it becomes double panel going up and through here. At that point, I could probably get a shave tool pretty far up into there, but once it gets a little bit further into that, we're going to be glue pull only. Alright, so now I'm going to finish up the rail with a little bit of glue pulling, and then on to the rest of the car. Take my pull, some alcohol, and voila. So now I'm on to the door. And this is the typical damage that you'll find on a moderate to light hail damage vehicle. And I'm going to actually go in here. I'm going to show you how I'm going to be cross-checking this damage and how to do this as quick and precise as possible. Okay, so I'm going to start this damage off by coming in through the window access. I'm going to go ahead, and sometimes when you got a window that's a little bit tight, you want to stick your window wedge in there. You can drop your board right in there. You want to go ahead and wedge it up and give yourself enough room to get to the back side of that dent. I want to note here, every window that I go into, I double check to make sure that it's not laminated glass. You're going to know laminated glass because it's 2 panels of glass with a gel coating in the center. Any pressure on the edge, it's usually bye-bye window. So always make sure, regardless, get in the habit of checking them windows just to make sure and keep yourself out of trouble, because a piece of laminated glass is not cheap. And I'm actually going to go inside this with a ratcheting handle tool. Just working this damage up little by little. No worries about making it perfect because we're going to have to go in here and cross-check anyhow. Sometimes they do come out perfect from this angle, but we always got to double check from that cross-checking angle. So moving into the damage, it's a little bit further up in the panel. We just move our window guard and our window wedge forward. Alright, so as usual, we're going in for our cross-checking on this door. One thing I want you to keep in mind is that when I came in from the top, I had the window down. Now that I'm actually going in here through the wiring harness to do my cross-checking, I've got the window rolled up. You don't want to be prying against the window, or you don't want to potentially leave a scratch in it. Toyotas, Lexus, they have real soft glass, and there's several other auto manufacturers that you got to worry about scratching the glass. So as usual, I'm going to go in through this wiring harness to do my cross-checking. Now that we have the damage all finished from our cross-checking angle, it's time to move on to the fender. Alright, so now I'm actually going to go ahead and finish up this job by working on this fender. And we've got a couple ways to access this. We could take off the headlight, however that's going to require taking down the bumper. We have this big opening right here, this cavity on the inside of here, where the tool can actually slip into the back side of the metal. Several different openings there. We can also unbutton this lip here and slide our tool from down below. So at this angle, I'm going to start out by pulling back and going underneath the fender liner. So now that I've actually repaired as many dents as I possibly could from that angle, I'm going to cross-check my work and come in from this top access opening. So what I noticed when going across this panel, I even got a very, very little one right up here towards the front. We got this rather nice opening right here on top of the headlight that I can slip my tool in there and begin making my pushes. Alright, so we got this fender all finished up. So now the whole vehicle, all the dents are removed from the entire vehicle, and now all we have to do is reassemble the vehicle and get it washed and waxed, vacuumed out, and it's all ready to go.